What's up, guys? My name is CKay. I'm an Afrobeats musician, singer, songwriter from Nigeria, and I'm here live in Essaouira, Morocco. Yeah, so I'm Igbo by tribe. Yeah,
Why did you choose to make a song with a Moroccan artist?
the remix of Love Antinte with El Gran Toto was very spontaneous. It wasn't really something I planned. Um, Basically, I had a couple remixes that I wanted to release, like a French remix, a Spanish remix, and East African one, a few. And basically, a day before like my deadline to submit those remixes for release, I got a DM from someone, and his name was El Gran Toto, and he said he loved the song, and he said, that was big in Morocco, and he thinks, let's do a remix so that it will go, even crazier in Morocco. And at that time, I had not heard much about Morocco actually. Obviously I knew about the football team, and all that, but I didn't know that much. So I was like, okay, cool, let's do it. But I told him you have to record it today and send it today because my deadline is tomorrow, right? So I sent him the files, and he recorded it in less than 24 hours, and we put it out, and it was a very huge success. And I would say that collaboration kind of, I learned more about Morocco from that, and I was a bit more aware of Morocco, and I started to get very interested in Morocco.
Did you learn any Moroccan words?
Yes, but I cannot say that. I cannot say the word on camera. The word I learned. Toto actually taught me that one, but I can't say it on camera.
What's been hardest to write about? Joy or sadness?
It's very hard to write about sadness, because to write about sadness, you have to first relive the sadness, and reliving sadness is not a very fun thing to do. Like, writing from a place of pain, you have to really, really, really acknowledge the pain, and you have to, you know, when the song comes out and is successful, you have to sing that song every day, and relive the pain every day. So it's not the most fun thing in the world, but it's, like I always say, musicians, well, I don't know about every musician, but for me, I see my music as community service. I'm here to serve mankind and the human race. Um, I feel my goal in this world is to uplift the vibrations of the human race. I always say the lowest vibration of the human race is war, killing each other, and the highest vibration is love. So I'm here to push the highest vibration in any which way I can, and that's a service in itself.
Would you like to collaborate with other Moroccan artists?
I would, but I'm not very familiar with too many Moroccan artists. That's the thing. I'm actually trying to discover more Moroccan artists that I would like, you know, not just collaborate for the look of it, but also like artists that our sounds align, very closely. And I think, it's not the easiest thing to find, especially when there's a language barrier. But I feel the more I come to Morocco, the more I'll be able to, increase the chances of that happening.
Do you think you can collaborate with a Gnaoua artist?
Yes, I'm very open to, collaborating. Like I always say this, yeah, like if you open my Spotify or Apple Music right now, you see a very wide range of music. Like I listen to music that people won't probably believe I listen to, so I'm always open to collaborating. Always.
Why did you say yes to Gnaoua Festival?
I mean, first things first, it's Morocco. I think Morocco is a place that has supported me, a lot. So um, every time there's an event in Morocco, you know, I'm kind of biased positively to, accept it. And yeah, I also wanted to kind of experience something new because the Nawa festival is not something I'm very very familiar with. It's something new to me, and I saw it as an opportunity to not just honor the invitation but also to learn more about Morocco and learn see other parts of Morocco. Essaouira is the first time I'm coming here, and I think it's a very different vibe from what I'm used to, and I'm happy to be here and happy to perform for the people tonight.
Why is your new EP called CK the Second?
Yeah, so it's called CK the Second because it's like the second coming of CK, and the first coming of CK was CK the First, and you know, as most of you know, that's where Love Wantinti, your favorite song, came out from, and CK the Second is about evolution, is about a new chapter, it's about growth. It's largely about growth, because I feel as a person, as a musician, I've grown a lot since CK the First. So much has happened in my life. I've been to so many places, I've been on tours, I've, had a lot of good and bad stuff happen to me. So CK the Second was a way of me, expressing that growth, and it's 6 songs, 6 really amazing songs, you know. I listen to this EP myself every day, even though it's my EP, and I listen to it every day because I think the music is genuinely great, made in Africa, by Africans, mostly by Africans. And, when I was making it, I was shuffling between Western and Eastern Africa a lot, as you know, are very different, in terms of the vibes and the energies. And, I got the pleasure of working with some really great musicians, BMH, who produced a large percentage of the project, Vision from Mauritius, who played guitar on most of the songs on the project. It was a really, really, blessed experience to make that project, and even more blessed to release it, and to see people appreciate it everywhere. I think that's amazing.
Which track was the most raw to you?
I'd say the track that feels the most raw to me would be Nothing Spoil featuring Bella Shmurda. And it feels the most raw to me because it's the most vulnerable song, and it's probably the saddest song too. It's a song about life, and understanding how, you know, none of us is going to be in this world forever. Where at one point, you know, at the point that God says it's time, it's time. And I feel, it's a reality that everyone knows, but, everyone avoids. And I feel every time a loved one or a family member passes, it kind of reminds you of that. And that's kind of what it was for me. A family member of mine passed, and it just had me in that state of mind. And I was just very, it was a very philosophical moment for me. So yeah, I'll say it's that one.
You blended a lot of genres in your new EP. What was your motive?
I wouldn't say I blended genres like that, to be fair. The project is predominantly very Afrobeat leaning, but I just like take elements. I would say more of elements than genres from, different, parts of my childhood and growing up. Like for instance, track one, it has it has a bit of Arabian scale to it, and this kind of comes from where I grew up, which is Kaduna State in Nigeria. It's in the north, and Kaduna is a predominantly, Islamic place. I'm not Muslim though, but I grew up amongst Muslims. All my friends in childhood were Muslims, so I kind of had a taste for, Islamic music, the prayer calls from the mosque. I used to listen to this every day because I grew up there, and that inspired a large part of my sound. And guitars, lots of guitars. I've always loved guitars, pianos. I've always loved violins and all that stuff. So it's just basically me taking elements from stuff that resonated with me growing up.